Hello everyone, welcome to the 420 Smoke Room. Tonight our guest will be Miss Ladybug, Debra Mayberry, I believe is how you say her last name. I'm going to wait for her to hop on. We are live in the relevant chat room for those of you who are listening from other platforms. We are on live relevant 420 Smoke Room. Check out our vibe over there. For those of you who haven't already, definitely do so. Hey, Miss Debbie, how are you?
Hi, Trisha. I'm very good. Thanks for having me here today.
I'm so excited, Miss Ladybug, also known as Miss Debra. How are you? I definitely want to welcome you on and just kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself and, like what is it that you do, and let's just start there.
Okay. Well, hi. I'm Debbie, also known as Miss Ladybug, and I am a cannabis health coach, and I have saved my own life with cannabis. I was on 19 pharmaceuticals between 2010 and 2017, and as of New Year's Day 2022, I will have been free of pharmaceuticals on a routine basis for 4 years.
Oh my God, that is awesome. I can relate to that for sure. I was on just as many meds, if not more. But yeah, and it's been, I don't know how many years now for me, but I've definitely cut out all pharmaceutical meds. So I've really been dying to hear your story a little bit just because I feel like I can relate to it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that was just that 10 years. I was first introduced to medications when I lost a child in 1985. I was given Valium and told that would help with my grief and sleep and this and that. And I only took it for a couple of days, and that was appropriate. And then in 1989, I went through a divorce, and I had 3 children under the age of 6, and I started a landscape maintenance company business, and it was very stressful, and I wasn't getting support, and I didn't have much help, and I had a panic attack and found myself in the emergency room with a panic attack, and they gave me Xanax, and that was just wonderful. It was really wonderful because I thought I was dying, and within 15 minutes I was like, I can go back to work now.
Right. So then after they probably decided not to give it to you no more at some point in time, now you've got to readjust.
No, I never had that happen. What actually happened is as the years went, meds got added. I had undiagnosed, untreated complex PTSD, so they just thought I had depression, and so I was given antidepressants. And then those caused insomnia, so then they gave me medication for insomnia. Then I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so then they gave me anti-inflammatories and more antidepressants and more stuff to help with sleep, and it just kind of kept getting added on, and I'd go through periods. This went on for over 25 years, and I would get to a point where, I'm doing really good, and I get off all the meds, or get off most all the meds, but then, I'd get an injury, and so I'd get put on opiates, or I'd have a relational issue and get depressed, so then they'd be back on antidepressants. Well, in 2010, I got injured at work. I was working as a nurse in Salem, and I slipped, but I didn't fall. I did everything but fall, so I ripped up a bunch of muscles in my back, keeping myself from falling, and it put me into a fibromyalgia flare that I couldn't pull out of, and my doctor after 6 months said, "You're done. You're disabled. You're not going to be working." And that's when the medications really started getting piled on because I wasn't working. So, it was easy for them to justify that, well, this will help you feel better. This will help your situation. And I would ask about, well, gosh, are you sure? What about addiction? What about dependence? What about all of them being mixed together? Oh, well, their pat line is the benefits outweigh the risks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big lie. That's a big lie.
There definitely
And
is. From firsthand experience, I totally agree. And I feel like every time we go to the doctors, it doesn't matter if it's I got an itchy throat, I got a scratchy eye, I got a fever. There's 3 different pills, one for each. Here you go.
right, right. With no studies
You want an
showing all
ointment? You want
those
an
meds
ointment to
being
go with
given
it?
together and how it's going to react.
Right. There's no study, there's no nothing. And then when you start questioning, I feel like they pile on more meds. Like, no, no, no. And now you need another pill. Like, you're overthinking. Like, you know, and I definitely feel you. Have you ever heard of the app called MedRight?
No, I have not.
So my brother was a medic in the Navy around the time I think that you're discussing between 2010 and like 17 or something like that. He was there, and he had introduced me to this app because he was learning as a medic student for the Navy. He was an actual medic where they go in and help people who are hurt during their battles. Well, he explains to me that that's an app that they cross-reference all the medications on. So you'll know if you should or shouldn't be mixing these meds together. The app will do the work for you. So I said, really? Let me get that app. So I downloaded it. I paid for like their little program fee. And I put in every med the doctor had given me. And I actually went back to the doctor because it came back that 2 or 3 of these meds I wasn't supposed to be mixing. So then when I brought it to the doctor's attention, he was still telling me, no, 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 just like you're saying, you're right. You're not, it's fine. You're overthinking. So then I pulled out the app and I said, no, I first wanted to give you like the benefit of the doubt to hopefully try to correct yourself here. But now I'm going to tell you and show you where I can prove you're medically wrong. Then he removes me from the medication. After I showed the app though. But it took literally me begging and pleading to explain to him that these meds cannot be, I don't know which one of these meds, but I know whatever's going on, it's from these meds being mixed right now. And all these new symptoms are from these new meds you're giving me. And I'm not crazy. So like, I feel like I definitely can relate to your story there, but MedRight is something I've always used now to cross-reference meds if I ever go back, But at this point, I always check everything and mix it, and it lets you know like what's in the black box and whether you should be having it or shouldn't, and if those benefits actually do outweigh. Like there's it shows you all the negative stuff like in the app, and it'll show you what the benefits possibly may be, and if they're actually like the percentages, like numbers.
So it actually gives you full disclosure.
Yes, because it's something that the nurses and doctors are supposed to use to help determine and better advocate for their patients. Because your brain, like Johnny on the spot, isn't going to always be 100% computer. Like you don't remember what can be mixed. Like you learned that in your first year of college. You're like 10 years on the job now. You know what I mean? Who remembers what they learned 10 years ago in their class on that one day? Like, So, yeah, that app definitely is something used. And since then, I've always caught in doctors off guard because like they're not aware. Like it's open to the public too. Anybody who wants to pay for the app can use it. The government pays for it and gives it to most government employees, like they're met in the Navy. So that's how my brother got an account. Well, I just paid for my own with my credit card, logged in as a civilian, and used it, and it worked great. But yeah, most med school kids use it because it's something that they use in school. But now that I know that, I can like argue better with doctors and self-advocate to a better advantage because I have the same technology that they're using, so they should be able to log into that same app and see exactly what I'm seeing.
Right. And what is wonderful for folks like us, folks like us that who are wanting to be in charge of their own health care and want to be in charge of their own body and want to be the best that they can be. But one of my concerns is there's so many people, you can see them in the grocery store, and you look in their grocery cart and you can see how they're living just by what's in their grocery cart.
Very
full
true.
of garbage, full of sugar, full of carbs, full of garbage, nothing, no good nutrition, no good micronutrients. And how are we to awaken those people a little bit so that they get on board?
Well, I
Because
definitely think that health and wellness is so important because if you realize everything you eat like has hormones or HGMOs or different things in it, if you have certain diseases, like for instance thyroid disease, which I have that, so eating certain foods with hormones actually makes me flare because I'm adding extra hormones and my body's already producing extra hormones, so I'm overdosing on hormones. So I have to eat a lot of food that doesn't have that's hormone free or HGMO free, or that is more like vegan or healthy grown or things like that, because of those hormones. So when I went on that journey, I definitely learned about what you put in is what you get out. And if you're putting in nothing but toxic food that's not healthy for you on a regular, you're gonna get back unhealthy issues. Shut up!
Right.
Sorry, my dogs are barking. My son's moving in his room too much. I'm live, Al. Chill out. Sorry about that. Welcome to the live life. You can't edit and block everything.
My dog's at home, and they're going to go nuts when I get home. I had to leave them today to drive to another city to see my friend in the hospital, so they've been left alone for a few hours, and boy, when they get home, they just go berserk.
Yes, mine go berserk. I got home like right before this live, so I'm actually rolling up now to get my first smoke in since I've been back home. So they're ready for me to get to them, but I'm gonna make them wait a little longer and do my live, and then after that, handle them.
There you go.
But
so yeah, anyway, all those meds got added on, and I'll tell you, getting off of them was hell. I mean, I ended up in a psychiatric unit 2 different times. 12 days and then out for 7 and back in for 12. They added on a whole bunch more meds. So then I had to get those gone after a few months. And there is no support out in.
Not really. Not when you're going against what the doctors are saying, because insurances don't really want to pay for treatment if you're not doing the plan. And the plan is to get you on as many pills pharmaceutically as possible.
Right. And when you're coming off them, you're mentally not stable. I mean, I will admit, I had moments of psychosis. All my receptors in my brain were fried. I mean, I was hurting really bad. And everyone in the world, including family, friends, everyone, they're just like, oh, you need to take your meds. This is why you're being like this, because you need to take your meds. I'm like, no, it's not. Please wait with me. Sit through this with me, because I knew if I gave it time, I would get better.
Yeah, your body has to detox all of those meds that they put in, and while you're detoxing, just like any actual drug, like I hate to reference pharmaceuticals to hardcore drugs, but to be honest, it's both things you put in your body that take time to go out. So whether it's a cup of bleach, whether it's heroin, whether it's a Valium, whether it's whatever, but it still has to run its course, just like everything else, almost like a virus. And once it's fully detoxed and run its course, then can you begin to alkaline and balance your body and start to find what is normal for you in your body.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm coming up on 4 years off everything. I've been off benzos 5.5 years, off opiates 5.5 years, off all the psych drugs 4 years, and I still have symptoms. I still have some residual difficulties that my doctor says might be there for a very long time, but I'm so much better than I was when I was on the med.
Definitely. And because you're still not disease free, I'm sure, because there is no cure for fibromyalgia. I heard you list that one, but I know that you're not disease free, so you're gonna have symptoms. Like, I'm not disease free. I wake up days I'm still vomiting, or I wake up days and I got nothing but hot flashes, or headaches, or whatever the issue is, body pain at the time, or my lymph nodes are swollen, or my throat is swollen from my thyroid. You're still going to have symptoms of these diseases, especially because you're not taking your actual medication. So, but we just learned how to, like, adjust with them. Am I right? Or do you not? Like, how do you cope without your meds and still having your diseases? I know for me, I just kind of push through each day, and I kind of use holistic healing along the way. What are you doing for your symptoms since you're not medicated?
Well, I am medicated with cannabis,
Me
so
too.
yeah, I do use cannabis oil every day, and I also smoke every day. Um, but I work at combating symptoms by what I eat. Like I've been horrible during the holidays here, and I can feel it. I've been eating, sugar and processed carbs, and I've put on weight. I feel sluggish. I feel inflamed, and all of my allergies have flared up. I have severe allergies.
Girl, you just described my life right now, literally from Christmas as well. I'm right there with you. I ate so many
And
things.
it's my own fault. It's my own fault. So so I'm getting ready to do a big clean out after the new year, because if I eat what I'm supposed to eat, I don't hurt as bad.
So what do you
And
do
I
for a
think
clean out?
a
Maybe
lot.
I'll join you.
What's that?
What do you do for a clean out? Maybe I'll join you.
Well, I'm actually joining up with my friend. She does this every year, and it's a 21-day spirit cleanse. So it's multiple parts, but you do a meditation every day. I can send you a link later.
Yeah,
but,
I'm definitely interested. For sure.
Yeah, it starts on Monday, and you choose for yourself. Like some people that smoke cigarettes, they're going to give up smoking for 21 days. They're going to give up meat for 21 days, and then what are they going to focus on? Well, meditation and some yoga and being kind, whatever.
Okay.
But so yeah, I'm giving up all sugar and all meat
Oh, you did
for
two
21
big
days,
things.
except for fish, and so going to be pretty much a pescatarian for 21 days, and that'll help. And then also I get outside and get movement every day, even if I'm hurting really bad. I still, even if it's only for 5 minutes, I get some fresh air, get myself grounded in today, and do some meditation. Those all help with pain. If I getting outside, there's just something about getting some fresh air and moving about a little bit. Even if I'm hurting, it's like I hurt whether I'm laying in bed or not. But if I get up and move, at least it's a bit of a distraction. I'm getting some fresh air. I'm getting grounded in the moment.
I totally agree with you on that. So I got a question for you. What was it that led you into cannabis? How did you discover cannabis was actually helping you when you were detoxifying from your pharmaceuticals?
So I used cannabis as a teenager, recreationally back in the 70s. And then the person that I married, that I shared children with, was back in the day what was considered and viewed as a chronic stoner.
Okay.
And in the worst sense of the word, he didn't work, very irresponsible, those kind of things.
He was the 70s kind of smoker, from what the typical trend of, for what you would say.
Right. Which it had nothing to do with cannabis. That's just how he is. So, but that kind of turned me off, because that's what I saw, and right. So it was kind of. And then I became a nurse, and it was not acceptable, and then once in a blue moon, someone would have some, and I'd give it a try, and it made me really paranoid, because they always had sativas, and so I kind of had been turned off by it. But then in 2011, when I moved to Southern Oregon, the person that I was living with was growing, and so my doctor then, who was putting me on all these heavy-duty meds, she said, "Have you considered cannabis?" And I immediately started crying, because I was wanting to try it, but I still had my nursing license and was hoping I would eventually go back to work, and I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to if I was choosing cannabis. And she says, "Well, don't worry about that now. You aren't working now, so give it a try." So I was kind of using it just as an adjunct, just adding on top of everything to see what it did.
Okay.
Then and it was helping some. But then in 2014 was when I first got introduced to cannabis oil, FICO.
Okay.
And I had a friend who was using it for interstitial lung disease. and had excellent results. And she saw all my pills, all my medications, and she said, "You're killing yourself with those." She said, "Cannabis can help you get off at least some of those, for sure, the opiates." I'm like, "Really?" Because I, even though I wasn't working as a nurse then, I saw the writing on the wall that eventually they were going to take them away and what was going to happen.
Right.
And at that point, I was on 60 to 90 milligrams of oxy a day. So if they would have taken them away, it would have been really painful.
Definitely. So you need a substitute.
I started detoxing myself by using the cannabis oil, and I didn't really have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I just slowly started taking less and less and less and using more and more of the cannabis oil, and it was working. And as I started noticing it working, and then I'm looking at all my morning pills one morning, and I'm seeing my antidepressant and going, I'm more depressed than ever, and seeing my sleeping med, and I never sleep, and seeing, all these meds. I'm like, these aren't working. This isn't sustainable. And so that's when I made the decision, I'm going to try to get off all these and see what cannabis will do and see what will happen with me if I get off these. Because at that time I was overweight, in bed, suicidal, depressed, and in so much pain, I didn't have any life.
Okay.
And
I totally understand.
I was bedridden. I walked with a cane. I was a sad sack of a person.
Yeah, and I definitely feel you on that. Like, I didn't walk with a cane, but I was almost there. I just, getting out of bed every day was hard, or just to even do the daily stuff without pain. And, and then if you do take the meds, you're constantly knocked out from the meds. So, having little children, I couldn't either. So I definitely understand that point and that crossing road that you were at. I feel like I had been there myself. So at that point, did you just quit refilling your meds, or did you talk to your doctor about just not refilling them?
I talked to my doctor and said what I was doing, that I wanted to start eliminating some meds and that I was using the cannabis, and they were really all over it as far as the opiate. But she didn't have any input for me as far as how to detox and how to go through withdrawals. Nobody ever said, 10% every 2 weeks or anything.
Right.
And so I was just, cutting out a half a pill or cutting out a dose. And with the opiates, it was not so bad. When I got off the opiates, it was rough after I got off them for a while. But the benzos and the psych drugs were 100 times worse.
Definitely.
Because if I missed a dose, I would have brain spasms. My head would literally feel like it was on fire, and I'd have these brain spasms, and it really hurt. And so I did change doctors in the course of this, and finally got someone who said, you got to do 10% only. And so, it just was, even though the doctors they didn't understand, but the doctors, they respected my desire to give this a try.
Well, definitely. I'm glad that they did, because look at you now. I heard that you were able to do a 5K not too long ago, which is phenomenal, because you went from a cane to
Yep.
that. Like, I wouldn't even be able to imagine at that crossroad at that time for you to even think that was possible, when you were making that decision. You probably didn't see that coming.
My 50th birthday, I did that.
Yeah. So I was really excited about that, because I know that, doing those runs and marathons are emotionally a lot too, and physically a lot. Like, not just the energy part, but like the things you go through and the trials and tribulations to complete that. It gives you a good sense of, high moral and feeling, of accomplishment afterwards. So that's great. Those are the best kinds of highs, I feel like, for our mental parts, like those receptors in our brain, that instead of feeding them with pills, feed them with accomplishments and, good productivity, things that you feel happy doing, And if it's
Right.
a 5K, then run your little heart out, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you healthier. It's going to make you happier mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah, it's going to physically hurt your body, but no matter what, every day we go through pain. So, you know what I mean? But it's not too often that we go through pain that feeds our mental, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. One of the best things that I did through this journey that I've been on in 2017, 18, 2000, the end of 17 and beginning of 18, I was in Salem, Oregon, and I got the benefit of going to a pain clinic. And this is a pain clinic that did nothing. They had nothing to do with pharmaceuticals. They did not prescribe. They did not tell you not to take meds. They didn't have anything to do. And at that time, while I was going through this program was when I took my very last pill on January 1st, 2018. And one of the main components of this, it was a 10-week course, was acceptance and commitment therapy.
Okay.
And acceptance and commitment therapy, the simple premise of it is you hurt, whether you're being a sad sack and laying in bed and doing nothing, or if you get up and get outside and take a 5-minute walk.
Correct.
If your pain truly, which most chronic pain doesn't get really increase unless you really overdo it. But if you just get up and move, it's not making it worse. It hurts. It hurts. You just hurt all the time.
You gotta learn how to push through. And if you don't, you're just gonna always be in bed and be a potato.
Exactly. So you might as well get out of bed and have a life.
Correct. And pushing through, making those memories, making those bonds, doing all that stuff. Because if you don't get up and push through every day, you're not gonna make it financially, physically, and like your family, like, you still want to be a part of everything, so just instead of being so depressed of why you couldn't be a part of it, just go and be a part, whether even if it's just a little part, even if you're just there for an hour, at least you went, right. At least you were there, at least you can say you did it, and having those accomplishments are more. So and I definitely feel that that's how I've made it as well through most of my things. And I always like start new hobbies and end new ones, but that's because I have to do what's driving me, and if it's not driving me, then it's not driving me.
Yep. Exactly.
You only got so much energy from all the pain. You got to dedicate your time and energy into what's driving you, And that's why cannabis is so important to me, because I was just like you. I was on a duffel bag, and I still have my duffel bag. Like, literally, there was like 30 meds in this bag that I would take 2, 3, 4 times a day. And then there was injections I get in my stomach. There's injections I get in my back. There's, weekly injections, monthly injections. There's catheters twice a week. All kinds of crap. Constantly trying to be able, fighting whether I should get a feeding tube, whether I shouldn't get a feeding tube, gaining weight. You're too small, too small, too small. Now I've got too much weight. So it's like, which one? All the battles of all the diseases, no matter what, though, it's like, cannabis has always helped me, and out of all of the medications, cannabis is the one that made me be able to eat again. Cannabis helped me sleep again. Cannabis helped me gain my weight because the paralyzation of my stomach, it helped. Cannabis helped me with my anxiety, my stress. Like, literally, cannabis is like all my meds in one. It helped with the pain. It helped. There really isn't anything that it didn't help with. To where I could say, oh, I wouldn't take the cannabis because of this one side effect, maybe. I haven't had a side effect that was a negative side effect, unless you would take a lot and you sleep a lot. But then even that's sometimes your body just needs to sleep. So even then, it's not a negative side effect. I really don't feel like cannabis has ever done any harm to my body. It's actually helped me overcome. It helped me get my kidney disease better. It helped me get my lupus better, my thyroid disease better, my fibromyalgia better, like so many other diseases as well, like just on and on and on. I really don't think that there is a disease out there that cannabis doesn't find a way to help with in some way. I agree. Form. And I believe that has a lot to do with the receptors in our body, because we have cannabinoids receptors. So like, why does our body have those unless we're supposed to have cannabinoids of some form?
Right. Right, exactly.
Like,
from my research and my experience over the last 6.5, 7 years that I've been dealing with cannabis and with other people that use cannabis, there is a small percentage of people that have an allele in their DNA, a chromosome allele, that makes cannabis not work right for them.
Yeah, it makes them allergic to it. I've actually done some research on that as well. And when they're allergic to it, it's the actually general opposite effect. Instead of helping all of those things, it kind of hinders for people who are allergic. And I've only ever met one person in my life who was allergic to pot.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. I've met a few people that told me they'd been tested and they had that allele, but then they tried cannabis and it didn't have any negative effect, but it didn't have any positive effect either. It didn't have any effect.
Okay. See.
So that's another way that can be expressed. That specific allele, that DNA chromosome can be expressed is that it doesn't do anything. They don't get any effect from it. It's like it just bypasses all the receptors.
Where do you get tested for that? Do you know by any chance?
Any DNA testing will tell you if you have the chromosome or not. And I don't remember what the actual, I can't remember what it's a Y. I don't remember. I can't remember those things just off the cuff. I have to have.
I understand. I super love genetics. I have my DNA because I've done like the whole ancestor DNA thing and stuff, and I've uploaded it to like other platforms, and in like each platform you upload it to tells you some different stuff. So I wasn't sure if there was a platform to upload your DNA to get the results of that. Like, you know.
Oh no, I have not seen that.
I'm gonna look into that next because I definitely want to know like what mine says now. Just the nerd in me.
Yeah. I did my DNA and I can on Ancestry, but I didn't get the printout of my actual DNA, so I didn't get the medical portion.
I can't. You can log in there, and there's it's a GEM file that you download, and it's an actual PDF file of your DNA results, and then you upload that to any other platform you want, like Genealogy or like whatever other ones you're interested in, like 23andMe. And instead of paying for their DNA kit, you take the answer you already have and you upload, and now your DNA you can look at and compare to other members on their platform. So it's keeping your original file and your original results, so you're not repaying or for repeated services, but you're going to upload to their platform.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I've actually done it on a lot. And if you go on, like, I like the True Ancestry DNA one because they do, like, a lot of the ancient DNA stuff, and it's really cool to see from the past where you were, like, originate from, because each platform only goes, like, there's so many years in each platform to build, to work your way up. It's kind of pretty cool once you get into it.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'll get into that because that was the part that I missed when I did that, and I've always wanted to know that and just haven't put the effort out there.
Yeah, so I'm really into mine. But I just recently this year did mine, and I found like a lot of family this whole year. Like that's pretty much what I did during the whole coronavirus thing. And
yeah, well, that was part of the reason I did it. My mother was adopted, and so I have found her family, and we have become acquainted on Facebook, and hopefully I'll get out to Minnesota to meet them in the next year or so.
That is very awesome. My mom was adopted as well, and that's so as a Mother's Day gift, I got it for my mom, and then I found her family and contacted some of them, and then I found some more family on my father's side that I didn't know, about, and then I went back a lot of different generations back, like 9 or 10 generations back, I was able to build after that.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
How fun.
But there's a lot of information on it. But anyways, we have a lot in common. It's pretty weird.
Yeah. Now, where are you at exactly?
I'm in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, to be exact.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yep. So, how did you get the name Msladybug?
I kind of took it on myself. Back in 2012, I started a blog called Msladybug and Her Layers. And I got chickens, and I was living on a farm, and I got chickens, and it was about farm life and chicken life, and and I had all kinds of things. How to restore. I did blogs on how to restore cast iron and how to make yogurt and how to raise chickens and just all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I was checking your website out. Actually, it was pretty cool. I was looking at all the different photos you have up there. Your blog is really nice. I definitely give you your props, but continue.
So then when I came off the meds and my brain just got to where it was so dysfunctional, I couldn't write anymore. And that's when I started my YouTube page. But the Miss Ladybug, I just always had liked ladybugs, and I think someone at that point in time had given me this little cute ceramic stash jar that looked like a ladybug. So it just kind of came to be that that's going to be my online name is going to be Miss Ladybug.
I like it. It's beautiful.
Thanks. I do too. It suits me, and I love ladybugs. And they're a sign of good luck, and they bring happiness and joy. And so that's what that's about. And I'm hoping to get a new blog started with my Cheer Yourself a New business. But writing is still difficult for me. It's one of those things my brain really struggles with. And as you can see, I used to write a lot and I really enjoyed it, but it just is one of those things I struggle with.
No, I fully understand. I do. There are some apps out there where you can you actually, like, when you write your book or you write things, there's ones where you can talk it and they type it. There's a couple apps out now. I was just doing my book on one of those apps because I can type and everything, but I talk faster than I type. So that actually works out. And my spelling is pretty okay, but I always forget when to, like, capitalize or period or hyphen or how many spaces. And when you do that, the editing in it is already correct as well because they're not.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, that might be something to check out too.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple different links later, and see what, or and then on YouTube too. There's a couple other ones that I was looking at, but I didn't actually try. I liked the first one I came across, so I didn't really go on to the rest of the list. But yeah.
Wow.
But definitely. So what else? Currently, I see that you're a health coach as well and stuff. So let's kind of tell the people a little bit about what services you provide, and how you kind of.
So I'm just getting ready to launch. I'm actually just getting ready to launch. For the last couple years, I have been helping a lot of people. Anyone who's reached out to me that wants information about cannabis or how to make cannabis oil or how to make cannabis butter or questions about dosing. I've been helping those people for free, and as well as people coming off medications and just needing mentoring or needing more information. So I'm actually gearing up. I have yet to get internet where I'm living. I live in a very kind of weird place that's hard to get. So I'm trying to get internet where I'm at, and that's the only thing holding me up now. But I'm going to be offering services for everything from beginners just wanting to get some educational background on cannabis and what its uses are and how it can be helpful. Help with people with dosing, helping people. Another thing that I've done with people is people that live in other towns and are new and they've never been into a dispensary, and I can't go and hold their hand and go with them, but I'll go online and look at their online store, and then I can go back and tell the customer, the client, okay, these are various strains that might benefit you for the various conditions you're trying to treat. I can't actually prescribe one, but I can tell you about, I'll tell you about 5 different strains and what the cannabinoids are and what the terpene profiles look like.
Okay.
And what you can, so I do those kind of things. I also plan on, I'm creating a Become a Non-Smoker program. So I quit smoking cigarettes 9 years ago. And I used cannabis to quit smoking cigarettes. And so I'm going to develop a program to help people quit smoking cigarettes and by using cannabis. what else? And then, of course, uh, uh, helping people that have PTSD or depression, anxiety. I also have specific uh, help and suggestions and ideas about insomnia. I struggled with severe insomnia for decades. But mostly, everyone knows what their own path is. They just don't know how to access that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mostly like to work with people on is brainstorming and helping them see their vision board of themselves.
Okay, and like helping them create like whatever their next phase or like whatever they're trying to do or become.
Right. Lots of people, they go looking for help and they just tell you everything that's wrong and they want changed. And I work more from I want to hear, I need to know all those problems that you have, but I would like to know what you view to you. What would be an ideal day? Let's figure out what that might look like, and then we can develop a plan of how you're going to create that perfect day.
True, I like
over and over and over.
I definitely do. Positive over negative for sure, and trying to figure out plan a perfect day instead of like looking at the negative is really good advice. I definitely.
Well, because that's how you manifest. You don't manifest anything by tearing down everything that's wrong. You manifest by building up what you want. But you have to know what you're wanting. You have to, it's like in the morning, I do daily manifesting in the morning. When I first wake up, I do a little meditation, and then I just kind of visualize myself going through my day. And I know, okay, I've got what tasks I want to do, what my mood, how I want others to perceive me, and how I want to be perceptive of others. And I kind of cloak myself in that. And I'll tell you, the days that I miss doing that, my days become so topsy-turvy. I get half as much stuff done. I feel lost all day. And all I do is think about everything that's going wrong. Where if I've set the tone, if I've pre-paved my day, then my day goes more like how I want it to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because like having that plan and then following through is definitely a game changer, for sure. Because when you wake up and you have no idea and you're just always in a negative thought, you're still like a couch potato in a way without necessarily being on the couch. You're mentally in your body, and like the weight on your shoulder and the demons and the negative thoughts, those are all weighing in. And so I could definitely see the game changer in waking up every day, planning your day, planning how it should be, what time, what that's how you get from A to Z and make it through and staying positive through it all. I like it for sure.
Yeah,
I like your advice and stuff. So where can people find you at if they're looking to hear more about what you're doing and get in touch with you and stuff?
So I have a page on Facebook called Cheer, CHEER, Yourself Anew. So you can message me there. You can also go to my personal page, Debra Mayberry, and message me there. You can also find me on YouTube, Debbie Mayberry. And then my Msladybug and Her Layers, my blog, which doesn't have anything new in it, but it's a way to reach me.
Okay.
And I am on Instagram too, Msladybug.
And now you're here on Relevant as Msladybug as well.
Yes.
I'm excited to have you here. Have you looked around since you've joined?
I really haven't, because like I said, I don't have internet, and usually when I come into town, I'm just trying to take care of what I absolutely have to take care of and get back home. So I haven't been doing much internet type of exploration until I can get set up at home.
Well, definitely. You should definitely check out Wendy Love Ed's show. I know that she referred me to you, and I know you and her know each other. She has her pages on here and her platform as well, and she's really active over here. You should give her page a check out.
Okay.
As well. Her vibe. I keep calling them pages, but they're called vibes. I have to get with the program.
Okay, yeah, we got to have our vibe going.
Yeah, and they're vibes over here, and they're really awesome. I like them. So I thank you for joining me tonight at the 420 Smoke Room vibe on Relevant. And this will also air on YouTube and other platforms like Spotify or iHeartRadio, and Pandora, Alexa's, TuneIn. I don't know, so many. There's like 30 other platforms it'll air on later.
Sweet.
So
Sweet.
yeah, I'll send you some links, and I look forward to hearing from you maybe and doing a follow-up and seeing how your new adventures are coming and seeing you grow. I definitely like what you're doing.
Awesome. Well, I'd love that too. Maybe we can check in about 3 months and see where we're all at.
Yeah. It was a pleasure having you, Miss Ladybug. Until next time.
Thank you so much, Trisha.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Be well. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Good night.